Good afternoon everybody, this is part 2 of my exhaust system replacement on my Interceptor 650, and I have opted to buy brushed stainless steel Stratos headers made in the UK. These came sort of highly recommended and they've arrived, so there is a little bit of unboxing going on here. They turn up extremely well packaged. Each header is wrapped in polythene, surrounded by crumply paper. They turned up about 3 days after I ordered them, but then there was a bank holiday. Now Luke of Stratos, I emailed him first about these headers, and normally it's next day delivery, but the bank holiday messed things up. So they've turned up quickly, very well packaged, and I thought I'd show the unboxing of them. Here we are, this is how each pipe arrives. So wrapped in the crumply paper, each one wrapped in polythene. I'm very impressed by the quality of these headers. They are stainless steel, and at the end of this video I've taken a picture of I've done a printed piece of paper with the weight difference compared to the stock headers. So if you look at this, you've got 2 pipes, a bag with 2 copper gaskets for the cylinder head. Now they are absolutely faultless in terms of weld quality, the brushed finish, and what I'm really impressed by is the fact that there are no stress marks on the bends. You know, when you bend a pipe normally you get a slight amount of, not creasing, but you can see stress marks. There's none on these. The hanging loops are absolutely in perfect position, and I've reused my original header rubber anti-vibration mounts. Not only are they very easy to get out, as I showed in a previous video, but putting them back in again, I just squirted WD on them and pressed them in. They don't take a great deal of effort at all. Just tuck the edge in with a screwdriver and just push them, or put them in a vise, I suppose, if you're hasn't got as strong thumbs as I've got. So this is another shot of the hanging bracket for the anti-vibration mounts, and as you can see on it coming up now, the weld quality is really good, and the loop on them is a perfect fit. At the top end of the headers you've got some pretty thick clamps, which are obviously permanently on the pipes. You can't take them off, obviously. Well, you could, I suppose, if you went all the way down and scratched your pipe, but there they are. They actually are at the top, and it's very well machined as well. And I've actually mounted one on the bike, but I'm going to take pictures of these headers and the complete system, because as you can see there, that's the top end. So that pipe is the exact correct diameter, obviously, to go into the cylinder head, and you lose the finned clamp that comes with the stock headers. The weight reduction, as you'll see at the end of this video, you can probably freeze frame if you're interested and just have a look at the weight difference. It's substantial, it really is. The lambda sensor holes are excellently welded on, and obviously the correct thread and so on. So the lambda sensors go straight in. The other thing, in the box were some instructions for people on how to fit them, basically, and it's saying take care with your lambda sensors, don't twist them round and round, maybe take your tank off and disconnect the block terminal so you're not rotating your wires and potentially damaging them. So the instructions are very well printed, very coherent. For a nerd like me, they're spelt perfectly as well. But there you go, there's the clamps at the top, there's the lambda sensor hole, and you can see on the other pipe there the actual anti-vibration mount bracket. And compared to my last video where I showed the end of the stock header pipe with a big weld in it, that's the end of these, totally smooth. Now it's been pointed out the bike is not a 2-stroke, and who cares, and it's low BHP and a few welds in your headers don't matter. My own view on that differs somewhat. I think that having obstructions, especially sort of random ones in terms of the weld quality on the stock headers, it's not going to help things, and it's better off not having them. So this pipe is completely smooth. I mean, they're a lovely piece of kit and they fit perfectly. They go straight in, no having to twist things or move things. The anti-vibration mount goes straight where it should. The reason that I'm not taking pictures, I'm going to do pictures once they're on the bike. In my own case, I replace my header studs in the cylinder head with stainless steel header studs with an Allen key socket in them, and they were fine on the stock headers, but they're not long enough for these. So when I bought ones that were slightly too short, but I got away with it with the standard headers. I think these pipes will go straight onto standard studs. Mine were shorter, so I've ordered some longer ones. I can get the header on, but I want the full engagement of the nut, and I want the header stud to be fully into the cylinder head. Tempting as it is to want to whack it all on and get up and running. There are two of the copper type gaskets that came with the headers. And this next photo shows, just when it's coming up now, there we go. So another shot of the clamp and the lambda sensor socket. Again, everything fine for that, straight in. I use anti-seize on them, and I just painted a bit onto the lambda sensors themselves, and they've got a copper washer under them, so they just go straight in. Here's another shot of the header clamp. As you can see, it's a substantial piece of kit. I'm sure standard studs will fit it, absolutely. Mine certainly, as I say, didn't. It's too close. I've only got like 3 mil maybe, 4 mil, and it's not enough. I want the nuts to be fully engaged, so I've just ordered some off eBay, and longer than the ones I used before, so then I'll be able to get the whole system on, because in the next video I'm doing later on, I'm going to cover the cans that I've bought. There you go. Now look at that bend. There's not a single stress line in that at all. I can't find any stress marks whatsoever. I know from my plumbing experience, if you bend a copper pipe, you tend to get these rings round it where it's stretched some of the metal and so on. So I'm impressed by that. So there's some more pictures coming up, just basically shots of the bends themselves. My first view of the one header I've got on the bike but not connected up to the studs yet, is the pipe itself is far more in proportion with the engine. It makes the stock headers look very fat for the size of the engine to the stock ones, so these are much more in proportion, I think. Again, there's another bend. The lines you can see on it are shadow, actually, from my front door. They're not stress lines. It's a reflection of my staircase, actually, in the top of the header. And coming up is another shot, again of a bend, different angle. Here it is. It's faultless. I mean, I'm so pleased with them. I've emailed Luke at Stratos and said, you know, that I'm really pleased with them. A very nice touch is that the end of the pipe where the can goes on, they bevel it. You'll see it in a photo later. It's actually beveled at the end, so it's not just a sort of cut off pipe. It's actually beveled as well, presumably for ease of fitment into the aftermarket cans. And here is another photo showing there it is, there's the bevel look. So it's flared slightly to go into the cans, and it's got that bevel on it, which I think is really good. It's a nice touch, is that, rather than just a sawn off pipe. This next picture shows the lambda sensor. And now in the instructions that came with the headers, it says make sure you remember where you left lambda sensor is and your right lambda sensor, and don't confuse the two. I don't know if it makes any difference, but I did do that anyway. And so I put the right hand lambda sensor on the right hand side of the old pipes and put them on the garage floor, so they're going back in the same position. I would not advise trying to undo that lambda sensor without disconnecting the block terminal, because it takes a lot of twists and it can't do that cable any good. And that's anti-seize on it there. Now that's the anti-vibration mount, which I've popped back in, and it really is simple to do. As I say, a bit of WD, and it just goes straight in. You just poke the edges in with a flat bladed screwdriver and just push it, really. You could use a vice, I suppose. I just sort of jiggled it and pushed it, and then it went. So I think if your original ones are unharmed, you know, and not split or damaged, then they're absolutely usable, and they are very, very easy to put in. This next shot shows the original header on the right and obviously the new one on the left. And my bike's done 7,500 miles. It's about 4 years old, getting on for 5 actually, and you can see the difference between the stock header and the Stratus header. Far more attractive compared to mine. I don't think any amount of chrome cleaning would get that off that finned collar there. This next shot, that shows the difference in the thickness of the pipes. So the Stratus headers are the correct internal diameter with no weld obstructions or anything like that. And as you'll see at the end of this video, I've done a weight comparison. So these headers are, well, they're on Stratus. If you type in Stratos headers, you'll get them. He makes them for the Interceptor, you know, the GT. So specifically for these bikes, and the fit, as I say, is absolutely perfect. They go on straight away. There's a difference in terms of thickness. So aside from the cosmetic aspect of it, as people know, I don't go out with the Solvol Autosol much on the engine casings, and nor have I really done the exhausts, because I was planning on replacing them anyway. So this next shot shows the two. There's a graphite type gasket on the original header. You've got the silver paint round the bracket, and you can see that it's a lot fatter. So I shall do a video later with the whole system on and show just how I believe that the replacement ones are just more in proportion with the engine. It's always struck me they look like sort of fat sausages stuck on the side of the bike, and you know, that's my own view of it. No doubt somebody will disagree. There we are, there's another shot. The brushed stainless is actually very fine brushing, and my theory on that is it's going to go yellow and blue and different colours anyway, so I can't, for me personally, I didn't want highly polished ones, because I think you lose that once they blew off and start going different colours, which is part of the appeal of stainless steel. This next shot shows the two of them together. So you've got the big fat cat in the middle there on the stock header. Once I do the autopsy and slice it in half, it'll be interesting to see whether those two welds protrude into the pipe, so like at the other end, at the can end. And coming up now is the weight chart. So it shows, I've used bathroom scales, you know, with me standing on them and then weighing myself basically, and then holding the headers as a pair and dividing it by 2. So the difference is there. The original ones are 3.5 kilograms each, and the Stratus are 1.75, which is exactly 50% weight saving. And the total weight, therefore, weight saving just on the headers is 3.5 kilograms. So you're looking at a 50% reduction in weight just for the headers. I'm going to do a similar video for the cans that I've bought in the exhaust gender reveal. So there's the headers. I'd be interested to know your thoughts. My own thoughts are they're extremely well made, and they're a very, very precise fit. and I'm very, very happy with them. I'm not saying anybody else will be, and I'm sure that we will have a difference of opinion about just how good yours are or mine are, but I'm really happy with them. So well done, Luke, and I shall be fitting those as soon as I get my longer studs. In the meantime, take care on your bikes on this glorious sunny day, and I shall post a video later with a similar content about the cans. I'll speak to you soon.